Hi guys, welcome to the show. Back again, great topics tonight I want to talk about. So much media going on about the UFC fighter versus the YouTuber. And I've been reading about a lot of comments and a lot of bitterness from the MMA side. And I guess, you know, people got their views, but I think, you know, we're going to be careful about what went on. I mean, two guys made millions. One guy made more money than he should have ever made. And the other guy made more money than he's made in MMA. So it's a win-win situation. And what's my view on the subject is pretty much, yeah, it's a bitter pill to swallow because, you know, I do come from a boxing background, but you must remember something, you know, the YouTuber guys, you know, Jake Paul and his brother, they're not fighters as such. They love the art of boxing, but they're not boxers. They do it for the love of the game and for what they do is social media and YouTube. So
why would you say they're not boxers?
Because they're not professionally paid athletes. You know, when you're a professionally paid athlete, you're a pro fighter, you're a fighter, you fight for money, you fight for a living. That's what I did. I fought for a living. I didn't have a job, a 9-to-5 job. My 9-to-5 job was going to the gym in the morning, actually running in the morning, boxing gym in the morning. In the afternoon, it would be different things, conditioning, skill work, whatever it is. So they're not paid professional fighters.
So when they say that they've got licenses and all of that, what does that all mean?
That just legal. The licensing just legalizes the sport to allow it to go on. Remember, it's protecting both fighters. It's not about he's a licensed professional. It's licensing the event because two guys winning it's a dangerous sport. Anything can happen to a fighter or people participating in sport they've never done. So there's danger aspects, and unfortunately, you know, fortunately, unfortunately, there was a result. There's winners and there's losers, and yeah, I personally, if it was as bad a deal for Jake Paul's opponent to say, no, I'm not going to take the fight, it might hurt my identity, it might hurt my name in the MMA circle. He didn't care about it. He's a fighter, he's a warrior. He took it with you know what, I'm here to fight, come to my world and we'll fight a different fight. So yes, wrestling, you're not going to win, but it is a great topic to talk about because people have got views and everyone's respected in this. I listen to people coming from boxing angles, and I know people say a lot, and I think sometimes uninformed a lot of the time. So yeah, I think it was a great thing for the both of them and for a lot of social media people that are YouTube followers or are Instagram, Facebook, and all these new facets of what the world's moved into already. It's not even we are moving into it, it's already there. So, you know, the marketing power of that fight was very powerful, and I'm thinking it was a great event obviously for Jake Paul. Ben Askren didn't show up with a good plan, and he wasn't going to show up with a good plan.
What did you think of his attitude before the fight?
Look, you know, his attitude towards a fight is purely, you know, it's like a immature athlete. He's not there yet, but it's like you're getting 20 million people following and looking and doing what you're doing and seeing what you do. You know, you're going to act a little bit different. You're not going to be the same person, you know, and you've got $20 million on the table. It does change your mannerism and the way you're going to perform and do things. So a lot of lights are on the show. And yeah, look, I didn't enjoy the way he acted, or, you know, it's kind of disrespectful in a lot of ways.
You mean
but
Jake?
Yeah, Jake is like disrespectful. But, you know, Ben is a quiet soldier, and he's like, that's his personality. So it goes on personality, you know. And yeah, it worked for him, and he got the results. So, you know, let's move on. And, you know, I always say this, great performance for him. I've got a fighter or two he can put on the line. Bring it on.
Who would those fighters be?
I've got a guy, young guy, man. He's 7 fights, Keaton Gomes. Yeah, I've got a world champion, Kevin Arena. I mean,
same weight class.
Same, I think same weight class. I don't.
A cruiser world champion.
They're cruiserweights, but
Which belt?
well, Kevin's RBO and will be fighting for the WBA cruiserweight title, and you know we Kevin's really moving in the global game of boxing, making big waves internationally, and I've got a young guy, Keaton Gomes, who'll bring fire to your ass. So yeah, so look, anyone can jump on this. I'm just shouting out because, you know, this is how the business goes. You know, call it out, and if you want to sign the contract, big boy, let's go. Yeah, so I thought it was exciting to a point, and I kind of predicted the results. I mean, you can't listen. A stand-up guy will outdo you if you, obviously in a stand-up game, but yet alone there are stand-up, there are ground specialists that are masters on the stand-up as well. They're not fools. The game has evolved, so you know MMA circles evolve so strong. There's not really a weakness found in a lot of these fighters. It's not like in the older MMA fighters, it was more you're either a grappler or you're a stand-up guy or you're a kickboxer or you know you're a jiu-jitsu or what a judo. So the beauty of MMA and why it's grown so big is because, think about it this way, sports that have never been heard or told or spoken about, judo, wrestling, when I say spoken about in the global aspect, like boxing would be, you know, you bring in all different fight masteries into one game, which is great. And now they've come to realize, you know, some stand-up guys mastered MMA, some ground guys mastered MMA. So there is this up and down balance, but now the quality of stand-up and wrestling are actually intertwining, and they're becoming, there's not much ground for weakness. So, you know, some fighters in the past had a lot of weakness in stand-up, or they had a lot of weakness in ground game. So it was easier for opponents to get into their weakness and win the game. So I think, you know, the beauty of the sport is, you know, you bring in everyone into the fight and contact sport. Where boxing,
in the social media stuff.
Yeah, it's definitely massive in the social media circles because, you know, if I come from a kickboxing background, but I've never been able to expose myself globally, but I've been good here in South Africa, but now where do I bring it to make it even bigger and better?
Do you think there's a strategy that Jake Paul and Logan Paul have?
Definitely a strategy. You know, they worked with master trainers, and there was a game plan, you know. Unfortunately, you can't master somebody in a sport in a short time, like Ben Askren, in a short time to master the stand-up game. It's not his strength.
But I'm saying, like, they have a strategy that they choose fighters, that they don't choose guys that can...
There is a growth point in the game, but, you know, it gets to certain levels where you can't cross growth anymore. It comes...
What I'm saying is, like, they choose their fighters based on the fact that they know, yeah, they can market it like they're fighting a real fighter.
Sure, for sure.
That it's maybe an unsuccessful
for sure.
fighter.
I mean, the prime example, and nobody complained about it, was Conor McGregor Mayweather. The biggest win at the end of the day was the check at the end of the day. Everybody got the biggest payout of their careers.
180 million.
Yeah, I mean, Conor McGregor will do that 10 times over again. You know, exactly. You do it. I do it. I wouldn't care what sport I fight. If it's MMA, if it's boxing, and I'm signing the check, it's worth the pain and the loss or the victory. Yeah, you're going in with a 50-50 mindset, you know. So the great journey in these guys' careers is that they all win at the end of the day. You know, Jake Paul's done a great job in his YouTubing, and his brother has done Logan Paul. And, you know, these guys have elevated themselves, and good for them. Good for them. I give it to him, bro. It ain't easy to step in that ring. I don't care who you are. We can all sit in the background and talk. When this check's signed and you're training for that event, you've got a set date, and you've got to go to bed at night, and you've got to think about that set date. So a lot of people will be turning back and saying, I'm out. But yeah, easy said than done. That's why not everyone does a sport.
Do you think, because obviously a lot of people talk about Jake's attitude and how he trolls MMA fighters and fighters in general. Do you think he's just a sour person, or do you think there's a strategy behind it and it's feeding into what he does?
I definitely think he definitely works strategy. You know, to succeed, you need strategy. You know, you're not going in there, you know, like a donkey and trying to walk out like a racehorse. You know, he's grooming himself in the sense he knows I'm a racehorse, and who am I choosing? He's analyzing every possibility. He's counting out every lost possibility. You ain't gonna fight no pro boxer, that's for sure. And
if you did, you've got the boxer for him to fight.
Oh, I'll fight him.
No,
I'm coach. I'll fight him. Huh?
In your paddock, you've literally got the #1 in the world cruiserweight.
Dude, I got everyone. I got sparring partners. I got the champion. I got Kevin Arena. You know, you can bring it on. You know, let's talk business. But in the long run of it, yeah, you know, it's well strategized, and it's a master plan. So with a master plan, there's always a result, and that's what he produced. You know. And sure, he's got 101 million haters or whatever it is, coming from the guys that he beat in their profession, you know. And, you know, all respect to Ben Askren, you know, he knew he doesn't come from that background, and maybe he took the opportunity because he saw the greater things behind what he was. All he had to do was go forward and present himself. And I'm sure he tried. He didn't look great shape. I don't know what he was doing. I don't know where's his mindset. So that could be another part. Yeah. You know where guys are in their career, man. Because
he was on his way out. He's quite a bit older.
He is on his way out. But you know what the thing is? Some fighters just struggle to leave the game, man. It's for me, it was the hardest part, leaving the game. And I never left the game. I still don't feel I've left the game. I still feel there's a fight in me. Yeah. Those, I killed a couple in the back. But they're still in me. I don't know, that doesn't leave you. So, you know, you will always think there's that one opportunity for greatness or something. I don't know. Touched myself at night asking myself that question. But, you know, my dad was one of the greatest fighters of all time in this country, and one of the hardest punchers in the world. They called him the KO King. And he missed his calling. He lost the world title to Victor Galindez. And those days, it was only 1 or 2 world title belts. And if you were known as a world title or contender for the world title, you were as good as being the world champion. Because 15 grueling rounds, my dad went with Victor Galindez. He said it was the most gruesome fight of his life. He's never been hit that hard in his life. My dad was offset that day, and whatever it was, you know. But he said he was 2 days out of it. So, you know, he just felt like that was his life that went into that fight. And he lives with that every day. And that's why I think fighters struggle to get over that. You just know there's that better fight in you. There's that one more better fight. So it's an addiction. It's a drug.
In Ben's case, I mean, he did have the fastest knockout in UFC history, and it wasn't him that knocked anyone out. It was him being knocked out.
Yeah.
It was like 11.
Listen, you fought one of my favorite fighters of all time, man. Yeah, no, this guy, Masvidal is my boy. It's a street dog, you know. He's a mean machine. I love watching that guy. I love his character. And there we go, MMA fighter. Jake Paul ain't beating my boy. No way is he beating my boy.
But if Jake Paul was serious about fighting a real boxer,
that's my point.
Kev would be the guy ultimately that's best in life. If he was serious. And I'm not saying, like, take boxing out of it, media and marketing.
For sure. For Kevin, it wouldn't mean the road he's taking now. What it mean for Kevin is what's on the table.
100%.
So for Kevin to fight Jake Paul, it'd mean what's on the table, because Jake Paul mean nothing to Kevin. What means more to Kevin is fighting Murray or Doricus, or you can put them out there and hope.
Wow, in your mind, why?
Because these are gladiators, these are warriors. You're talking about a YouTuber, and you're talking about a warrior.
Someone who's dedicated his life to becoming the best.
Some people fake this shit to look good, but the real writing on the wall, when you're holding a world title belt, you look back, you're looking back 20, 30 fights. There's a journey behind that belt. When Jake Paul looks back, it's 2, 3 fights.
Against non-fighters.
But
one MMA.
it's picked and it's socialized and it's mediaized and it's built into a money machine, which is great. And boxing should take note from this because fighters deserve this money. But why? We've got to ask ourselves why. You know, why does it go from a guy? Listen, I'm giving Jake the thumbs up. It was a great freaking, you did it, boy. You did your shit. So at the end of the day, what is wrong in the picture? And that's what's wrong. When I take my boy Kevin and I see where he's going, what means more to him, and the money's less, would be becoming the ultimate world champion in the cruiserweight division. That's the ultimate destiny for him, and means more to him than fighting Jake Paul for 20 million.
But if there is that fight on the way, it would be a nice payday for him.
Of course. Yeah. I can go and live in Honolulu if I want, you know, buy my Lamborghini or whatever I want, you know.
Yeah.
But that's where it goes, and that's what this whole thing's about. So a lot of people are sour about the loss, and come to MMA circle. Dude, it was not agreed upon. Those weren't the terms. The terms were agreed upon, boxing, fighting. So, and he agreed on it. So let's wrap it up. It was a fight, and they agreed upon it, and the money was on the table. Money you and I never got. So I think well done. Guys did a great thing for the fight game. They brought interest from MMA. They brought interest from boxing. They brought interest from the whole fight community. And that's what the fight community deserves. They deserve that being watched, because I don't know a sport that's harder than the fight game. And I love glory kickboxing. I watch those guys, and you know, I was a pro fighter and I was in the top 10 in the world in my life, and dude, at one stage I should just be boxing because that's what it was. But now when I look at all the sports, I got so much respect I've always had for the fight game. And when my first experience of MMA was when I was living in California. My good friend Ed O'Neill, Al Bundy, married with children, you guys know him. He's a very good friend of mine. Took me for the first time down to the gym to go and meet the Gracie family. And I was honored to meet these guys. And you know, I couldn't believe it. I met these guys, and there was Hoyce and Hickson, and all the guys were at the gym. And I went there because Ed's a star actor of Hollywood, and I got to meet them firsthand. And the funny thing was, that was the early days of MMA. And by coincidence, a camera guy, the news guys and the media were there to do some story on the Gracies. And I happened to be there as a professional fighter, and I was like, at that time, almost gonna fight. I had some big names that I was fighting, and it was all on the cards, and things were happening in my career. But I had to be there at the time, and it was very new to me, this MMA circle. And I met the guys, and I was like, nah, this can't be that good a deal. And I met the Gracie family, the most amazing people. And they invited me warmly in, and there was no attitude with me about, I'm gonna, you know, because guys come here to challenge him. And I walked in the gym and I met them, and we sat down, and the camera team were there, and we started talking. Ed introduced me as a pro fighter to them, and they were laughing, saying, well, why don't you try and do MMA with us? And you know, I said, no, I'd like to stick to my game, it's what I know. And you're still new, you know, this whole MMA thing. And the media, because they've heard that I was a pro fighter and a boxer, and they knew the Gracies were these grapplers and this new thing of MMA and this, you know, they were just like in awe about this Gracie family. And they asked me to be in the interview, and I obliged, and I said, yeah, sure, I'll be in the interview, and happened to be on the show. And when they asked me the question, they sprung the question on me first. That was early days before people spoke about it. It was always this big thing about boxing versus grapplers, or boxing versus because boxing was known as the fight sport. Because when you heard about a Mike Tyson, the world knew about a Mike Tyson. If you asked me who was the grappling world champion, I couldn't tell you. If you asked me who was kickboxing world champion, I couldn't tell you. But everyone knew Mike Tyson. So that's what I'm getting at. No disrespect to sport, fight game. I love it all. But sitting with these guys, I happened to get questioned by the interviewer, and he hit the question straight at me, and I was like, no, don't do this, you know. And he was, Pete, so MMA versus boxing, grappler versus boxer. And I turned to the Gracies and I was like, you know, I was like, everyone in the gym was grappling and all eyes were on me. And the media, and I looked and I said, it's a 50-50. So there was like a pause, and I said, well, what do you mean 50-50? I said, well, listen, if he steps in my world, he gets knocked the fuck out. But I said, if I step in his world, I tap out. But if you ask me whether I want to be knocked out or I want to be tapped out, I think I'll choose tapping out. And the Gracies actually laughed, and they said they 100% agree. And yeah, they kind of saw the same vision, but they reckoned the chances of, you know, boxer, the clinching was is higher risk, higher chance of clinching than actually standing away and slugging it out. But I said, you know, there's different fighters, so you got to predict which fighters are which, you know, great MMA guys. And anyway, so that's how the strategy and the conversation went. And it was a great conversation with them, and I met them. And then I rolled with them for the first time, and I knew jack about grappling. And and I had this Gracie on me, but the guy's a small man. He wasn't a big man. I was weighing about 100 kilograms, 6'3". This guy must have been about 5'7", 5'8", and small, like, you know, like small body, whatever it is. And I thought, so he told me, lie on your back, and he got me down. He sat over me, and then he said, try and throw me off. If I tell you, it was the most frightening situation. I grabbed this guy with his gi, with everything I could. I tried to throw him. He sat on me and actually laughed. He left, and he just like tapped me. And it was the way he had me, it opened my eyes, you know, to MMA back then. I'm talking about 1999, somewhere around there. It was 1999 when I met the Gracies. And from that day, I realized, wow, there is huge respect and skill in every sport that is in the fight game. So to master all of them is the most difficult, I would say the most difficult part of training to become a complete MMA. And that's what's happening with the new age fighters. There's so much skill, and you know, there's so much genetical differences. You know, some guys are physically stronger, some guys are more durable, some guys are just tougher, some guys are less tough. So you're dealing with all these criteria, and you've got to balance yourself in this MMA circle, which is damn hard. That's why John Jones, legend, yeah, he's fighting soon. He's actually fighting the heavyweight. I think he's fighting for the heavyweight title now.
And then in boxing, there's also some big fights.
Oh, that's why I'm wearing it tonight. My boy, Tyson Fury, hey?
We'll make a video about that.
Yeah, we're going to make a talk about that. It's going to be a big one, Tyson Fury. But just to give a run in,
it's coming.
Two guys. I called Wilder Fury number 2. Spot on. I said, if Tyson Fury stops messing around, throws out his tongue, and gets back to business and comes with a bad demeanor, that's the meanest man on the planet right now. He will knock everyone out. He's that bad. The first fight, he jokes. He's a joker. That's how skilled the man is. He's a joker. But that jokes caught it up to him in the first fight. But I'm going to close it there. We're going to talk about that one. That's big news, man. Yeah, guys, you know what? I really great support, the support I've been having, the viewership, and you guys, you know, I feel I'm helping, like, from my expertise and my experiences, to just give you guys back from my mind and what's going on, an educated opinion, you know. And I love it, and I enjoy it, because I think this is what I feel I need to do. You know, I love the fight game, but I love all sports. I'm gonna have great characters on my show. You're gonna be seeing some big names, and
just let us know who they want to see.
Yeah, another thing, just let us know who would you like to see on the show locally. You know, sport. I don't know, what else is there? Sport.
Influential people.
Influential people. There's so many in this country that are like actually hidden that I'd actually like to bring out. If you guys got any names and you want to put them out, put them down there. Let me know. I can't wait to get this thing going and, you know, share with everyone the mindset of these great people that I'm sitting with. Also, great news coming up. My boy Kevin Arena. We've got big fight news coming up. So stay tuned. I'm going to have my boy in the show. Be coach versus my champ, Kevin Arena. We're going to have a SmackDown talk. We're going to see where we're going. And I'll let you know. Great news, man. This boy is moving and shaking the world. Let's go. Boom.